So, how to build a brand, a complete overview. Wow. You probably know that creating a brand is not about creating a logo or a catchy tagline. It's about creating an identity for your business that deeply connects with whatever target audience that you're going for. The product needs to be so good that these people purchasing it become brand advocates. They become loyal to you and they buy everything that you put out. And they also are annoying with their friends and family, and they try to get them to buy your stuff too. We all know these kind of people. And if you can get them in line with your brand, you're going to be extremely successful. If you can get that aligned with your brand with a good cause, you're going to be extremely successful and you're going to feel really good inside. No, it's not. No, it's on his forehead. So we're going to go through the intricate process of what it takes to build a brand from the ground up, or at least how I do it with my clients. So whether you're just starting a company now and you need a brand for it, or you already have a company and you need a new brand, this video should be pretty good for you. And if you stay till the end, I'm actually going to go through my framework with visuals to see kind of how I do everything in this 6 to 8 hour workshop that I do with companies. Before we get into that, we're going to go through some common brand mistakes and some key components that make a strong brand. So one of the biggest things that many businesses do, especially new ones, when they're starting their brand journey, is they're just really inconsistent. They're inconsistent with what they post, with what they say, how they say it, the colors of things, the tone of things. It's usually kind of all over the place. So when a customer sees these individual pieces, they don't really link them together as the same company. They get an idea that it's the same product or whatever, but they don't really get that it's you hitting them from all these angles. And you really want to nail that, because if you don't, all of that money that you're spending getting in front of the customer is kind of just going out the window. It's not really building any equity like you want it to. Another huge brand mistake is not really understanding what your audience needs. Sure, you have a dandruff shampoo that removes 100% of dandruff particles, and you have clinically tested lab results that prove this, and you can put some chemicals together and show the process in a lab. Oh my God, it's genius. You deserve a prize. But what your customer is looking for is relief from this embarrassing thing that's on their shoulders when they go to a party. And they're worried about someone walking up to them and being like, hey, what is it, snowing outside? We've all seen that Seinfeld episode, I think. It's cool that your product removes dandruff, but what your product actually does is help your customer with a big emotion that they're having. Embarrassment. I would know because my dandruff is terrible. That's why I'm projecting this entire dandruff thing into this video. So what are the key components of a strong brand? Like I just said, consistent visual identity. We already talked about it. You got to understand your audience. We already talked about it. Now you got to have a compelling brand story. Why are you doing this? Why should people care? Telling people you're doing this for money is not going to really win the hearts and minds of your audience. Are you solving a big problem in the world? Are you cleaning up the oil spill? Are you saving the turtles? Are you stopping pollution? Are you simply just making a product that works because everybody else's product is just absolute garbage? It doesn't always have to be some political thing. I'm going to quickly go over 3 brands that have done this emotional connection kind of thing pretty well. Yeti coolers. They make a product that keeps things cold. It's not exactly sexy and flashy and life-changing, but their brand suggests otherwise. Their brand suggests that the people using these things are on an adventure. Their lifestyle is exciting. The product will last throughout these rugged outdoor adventures. And this kind of pulls in an audience of outdoor enthusiasts, people that are willing to spend top dollar to get that extra little 1% of diminishing returns in their product. And with that product quality comes a quality price. Their stuff isn't cheap, but in reality, it's just a Chinese vacuum sealed metal container. It's the same stuff as a hydro flask. It's the same stuff that just costs probably a couple bucks to make. But they position themselves in the market and they're making a killing on their markup. Lush Cosmetics is an interesting one. I only know about them because we had a French friend come stay with us and he was so excited to go find the Lush store because they didn't have one over there. Lush is all about handmade cosmetics sourced from ethical places that don't take advantage of people. So, of course, if you don't take advantage of people, your stuff's going to be more expensive. And people are willing to pay the higher price because it makes them feel like they're doing the right thing. And in the beauty industry, ethics is not big. Now I'm going to go over how I would do this with my clients. This is what it's going to look like if you're doing a client branding workshop with me. First thing we're going to do is we're all going to sit down and we're going to ask, what are the intentions of this workshop? Why are you here? What do you want to get out of it? What's important for you to walk away with? That's really important thing to figure out at the beginning of any workshop or any meeting, really. What are the intentions of this? We write them down. I go over what's your personal aesthetic. I definitely don't want to be thinking about examples of stuff you hate. Everybody has design that they love. Everybody has design that they hate. We list out all the things you love, products, brands, logos, anything you can think of that you know you love, colors, we list them out. And then the same thing again with what you hate. Everything you hate goes right there. Now, this is where we figure out your brand positioning. In general, how would you describe your company? How do you want the culture of your company to be? Who's your users? Who are the people buying your product or service? What's your brand voice? What do you want to sound like? Do you want to be compassionate, patient, nice? Do you want to be brash, berserk, have a lot of gusto? It's all defined here. What value does your brand bring? All of these things come together to figure out what your brand positioning is. Where are you going to be in the market? What sets you apart? We take all of those elements and we figure out what your positioning statement is from those elements. This whole process takes a couple hours. We're probably 2 hours deep into this at this point. Now we get to the real meat of things. Your users. Who are your users? We start defining who your users are. What are their demographics? What are their psychographics? What are their needs? What are their goals? And for things like demographics, age, gender, income, marital status, are they married? Do they have kids? Do they have a job? What's their education like? What's their employment status like? Where do they live? Do they have decision-making authority? Things like that. And for the psychographics, we go through things like what kind of challenges are they having in life? What jobs do they have to do every day? What kind of ambitions do they have every day? What's their personality like? What are their values like? What kind of activities do they do? What kind of attitude do they have? What kind of lifestyle do they live? What kind of interests do they have? What triggers them? What pisses them off? What are concerns they have in daily life? And then we go over what are their needs. And we list out all the things that they need. Because after all, we're trying to solve a need. And we go over their goals because what better thing could we do than help a customer with their goals? All of those things come together to form a user journey. So how do they come into contact with your brand? Where do they start, which is not knowing you exist? And how do we have them end the journey with being a brand advocate, someone who tells all of their friends and family about you? We go through it all right here. Now, this is just one user profile, and most companies have a couple target audiences they're going after, usually 2 or 3 major ones. So, of course, we go through all of those as well. Each one of these takes a few hours. Now, everybody's building a brand for a reason, and it's usually because there's a project that needs a brand. So we actually, in the session, get into what is this project that you're doing? How can we create awareness for it? And how is this going to create revenue for you? And we map all of those things out together. And then we figure out, how do we create delight in your customers with that project that you're building? And how do we make that project come to life? So we actually map out the project from beginning to end. And then we even go over pricing and all that kind of stuff. It's really a comprehensive guide that provides complete clarity to what you need to brand your company, to know where it's going to go visually, and how to execute the project in the very end. And it gets better. When the session is over, I take all of the data that we captured and I put it into visuals. Then we build out some things that we call stylescapes. And that term comes from Chris Do at The Future. I love you, Chris. Essentially, a stylescape is a conglomerate of photos, typography, logos, packaging, products, all kinds of visuals coming together to form a uniformed aesthetic. And basically, I give out 3 stylescapes after one of these sessions. We get a mild, a bold, and a spicy. A conservative brand, I turn it up a little bit, and then I get a little extreme with it, in my opinion. And these are from my stylistic, aesthetic choices that I make. And all of the data comes from the workshop that we did together. It's actually really awesome, provides a ton of clarity, and is pretty fun. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm pretty fun. If you need help with branding, shoot me a DM. Let me know in the comments, what do you need help branding with? What do you think would be an easy win for you to figure out and change up? Let me know in the comments. If you didn't catch my last video, If you didn't catch my last video, go watch it. It's about something like, is branding just visual identity? It's not, by the way. Beep, make this big so I can read it. Hey, my name's... Well, I have an accent now? Hey, my name's... I don't know, bro. Hey, my name's Michael, and I talk about branding. So today we're basically... Today, I cannot talk today. Today we're basically going to say... So, how to build a brand. A complete overview. Wow.